Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Court Martial Podcast. Introducing your host for this evening first. He is the host with the most from the West Coast, the Bay Area brawler, Skylar Greenberg. And his partner, he has colonized, energized, and revolutionized the podcasting wrestling world today. Your colonial champion, Sean McCarty. And welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, to a fantastic episode of the Court Martial Podcast, brought to you by Smarks for Smarks, for the entertainment almost exclusively of Smarks. And I say almost because there are some smarky girlfriends there who are being forced to listen to this. I'm sure I am your Colonial Champion Sean McCarty, here today for ACPW versus NWL's epic conclusion. And say with me, it is epic that we are going to be bringing to you to the table. And with me, as always, the man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour. He is the proprietor of the National Wrestling League, who has got a show that I'm sure in no way will be disappointing in the slightest. Here today, the Bay Area brawler himself, Skylar Greenberg. How you doing, buddy?
I got one question for you, Sean.
What's that?
Are you in charge here?
I'm
in charge. I'm in charge.
Is Major... Anyway, so you know what's funny is I would like to say I'm in charge, but it's been kind of a 50-50 this year with you and I, Sky. We've made a very nice dynamic duo. And speaking of somebody who's holding his dynamic duo at this very moment, it is the proprietor of South Carolina Championship Wrestling. It is the man who is in charge of TAW Gaming, despite what Dr. Robotnik has to say. It is JoshAgeddon himself. How you doing, bud?
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
No, you can't say that.
No,
you can't say that.
Christmas music.
You can't
Suck
say
for
that.
friends, you know, and beat your meat.
This is why Skylar is talking to dwarves, okay? This right there, that right there is why Skylar's talking to dwarves. Not even Skylar knows why Skylar's talking to dwarves, but that is why Skylar's talking to dwarves right there. And if you want the context of that, by all means, please listen to South Carolina Championship Grappling's latest episode on TAW Gaming. The link will be in the description.
I'm just doing what Sean told me to do. I mean, I was holding my dynamic duo.
That I believe. That I believe. Well, speaking of things that are going to be protruded forth onto the masses, it is time for the National Wrestling League's final show of 2021, a show that I am very excited to hear about. Skylar, the floor is yours.
Watch me bring that excitement and then ruin it.
Well,
We believe in you, Skylar.
only if you choose to.
Well, yeah. NWL Frozen
Off to an
Frontier.
amazing start.
And judging by the poster and the fact that Toni Storm and Charlotte Flair are on the poster, I would assume they're in the main event.
Okay, I have high hopes for this match. I have high hopes for this show.
Well, I'll take those down real quickly. So, before we begin, we have to talk about some things that happened from Wrestle Festival and certain loose ends that have to be covered.
Okay.
So first things first, Drew McIntyre has sustained a torn ACL because of that pilmanized leg that Roman Reigns did to him.
Hate to see
Not a
it.
torn ankle.
I'm going to ignore that. Anyways,
The silence.
point is that Drew McIntyre has a torn ACL and he's out of action.
This is the week of uncomfortable silence here on the wrestling podcasting world.
Yeah, that is true.
Exactly. Anyways, Drew McIntyre is out. Also out is Pat McAfee, who is still in a walking boot.
Well,
Does
So-
he have a torn ankle as well?
ACL, you idiot.
it's well, it's a good thing it's a walking boot and not a talking boot.
Whatever. Anyway, so because of this predicament, what we're going
Tyler, you sound so defeated and downtrodden.
It's not even the downtroddenness, but I love that we are in quite a difficult predicament.
No, hold on 1 second. I need to breathe because I'm a little hot and flustered.
Oh man, this show has gotten off. We're in the recap, folks.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sky. Continue.
Sound like your dog just got ran over right in front of you.
This is the
More
sad
like the
frog
Flint.
face meme in a wrestling show.
Yeah.
I know. Anyways, because of the fact that Drew McIntyre was our number one contender and he has been injured, we need to find a new number one contender for Roman Reigns, who is also not here tonight because he's wrestling against a certain someone on the Atlantic coast. So, the co-main event is going to be an 8-man ladder match featuring everyone else who's in the rankings that's not injured.
Okay.
That they are as follows: Kevin Owens, Keith Lee, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Dominic Guerrero, and Powerhouse Will Hobbs.
That's a list.
Are they
That's a
fighting
list.
over a Sonic ring?
They're fighting over a briefcase, you idiot.
I was hoping for the Sonic ring from Revolution, the greatest AEW pay-per-view ever.
Skylar's from Winnipeg,
No.
you idiot.
Nice reference.
Manitoba, Canada. So anyways, whoever wins that 8-man co-main event will be able to move on and fight against Roman Reigns in January perpetuity. Now, boys, I've created this match specifically because I know both of you will hate it. Are you ready for our one pre-show match?
Oh, no.
Let's hear it.
A 5-woman way match featuring Naomi, Dana Brooke, Shotzi Blackheart, Mandy Rose, and Ty Conti.
Just bend me over and fuck me already, Skylar. Like,
Well-
what did I ever do to you?
You had me at 5-woman way. You lost me at match. Well, I'll just put it that way.
Fair enough. Do you want to know why this match is on the card?
Get people on the card. Christmas,
Exactly.
You
holiday
wanted
payday.
me to not have a Merry Christmas.
Well, here's the thing. At least you didn't sing Mariah Carey, so whatever. This is a 12-minute match. I'm going to give Ty Conti the win because she's the only one that I think that could maybe rise past jobber status for my company.
Agreed.
Let's look at the other 4 options.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm glad Ty Conti won. If you have to have this match, at least the right person won it. Who'd she
Did
pin?
Naomi or Dana Brooke botch
cares?
something during the match?
Honestly, who cares who she pinned?
And of course, the answer to that's yes, Joshua. Of course it is.
Of course, naturally.
Whatever. Anyways, now that we're past the pre-show, the main show has 6 matches on it. I forgot to mention that. This is a very light show because I just had Wrestle Festival, and there are certain wrestlers who are not appearing on my show. It's not as star-studded as I hoped it would be.
That's I mean, you just had your major show. It doesn't need to be like a monstrous like hoopla. Here's a show just as big as the last show. You know, you got to have a show that's kind of a little bit lesser than your big show, so the big show feels like a big show. Well, it's the big show.
You got to cool off. You got to cool down a little bit.
I know. I can't have every show be a big show.
You can't have every show start with, well, it's the big show.
Anyways, here comes a man who smells like the big show, though.
Hey,
It's
back
Otis
show.
Dozovic versus Heath Slater.
I honestly think that the big show smells better than Otis Jozovic. If I were just from appearances sake alone, I would say that there's breadcrumbs underneath all those chins that Otis has got.
Fair enough. Who wins this match, boys?
I'm going to go with Otis.
How many
in,
minutes?
4 minutes.
Okay, Sean, you?
I agree.
Thank you.
Okay, did you put your bets on DraftKings.com?
No.
No.
That's how we're supposed to win money here. Damn it. Anyways, Otis wins in 5 minutes. Sure, why not? Whatever.
All right, well,
Man,
we go. I
like
bet on the under, so we won.
Yay! It's the Price is Right rules.
That's right. $1.
$1. But here's the thing: Otis grabs a microphone. We're gonna do an Otis Dozovic promo.
Oh no.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
And the first thing he says is, "Oh, shut the hell up, people! I'm not doing the oh yeah. I'm not doing all the stupid crap. You all stereotyped me. You all thought I was a comic person, right? That's not who I am. My name is Nikolai Dragunov. I'm a Serbian. And understand something right now. I'm not going to be pushed around anymore. My name is no longer Otis. That's dead. Nikolai is here to win. Nikolai is here to compete. And if you don't like that, I'll just go somewhere else."
You piece of shit. You? Why? I mean, I know exactly what you're doing, Skylar.
What's that? What's he doing?
Just, I don't know. Maybe stealing a little idea from, the land that's under something.
Well, here's the thing. First, I had this idea way before your company was even a company.
I was doing this ideas before you was born. Yeah.
Thank you, Eddie Kingston. Secondly, the whole thing is that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take Otis, dog on him for the entire year, and then turn him serious. And by the time I turn him serious, he can go to ACPW.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where, we'll see how the January draft rolls out, but still at this point, the fact that he is kind of changing his narrative here, I do appreciate, where he's finally being like, nah, I'm done with this. I'm not being Heath Slater's bitch. I'm making the change. This is what a guy like him needs to be. Is real. And but there's one thing you miss, Guy, because he is Serbian, right?
Yeah.
You should have said that he is going to make a big splash in NWL.
Oh my god.
Well, that's Russian, you idiot.
You should go to SCCG South Carolina Championship. Go on now.
It's not going to happen.
Oh, God.
But there's the thing, Sean. If you want Nikolai Dragunov with a year's worth of build into his character and not just half-assing him, you can have him.
There we go. Friendly neighborhood work. I wish I had done the same for you. But I didn't. Sorry.
Well, that's the thing. I couldn't think of anything for Otis. Not realistic.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, you did what you could with him, and I think you did get some mileage out of it, to be fair. But also, when you look at the rest of your roster, he doesn't fit anywhere higher, really.
Low card.
Yes. Low card, low carb.
Anyways, we're going to move on to the next match. Speaking of low card, we're going to get all that out of the way because we're going to go big. And we're also going to do the thing that Joshua stole from me a couple weeks ago anyways. It is Raquel Gonzalez versus Piper Niven.
Oh, wow. A rematch.
Yes, and in this video package, we will mention South Carolina Championship Grassland. Because these two had a match there. And apparently Raquel Gonzalez had a grudge against Piper Niven because she lost. So when those two miscommunicated with each other during the last show, during that 5-on-4 match...
That's right.
Old feelings came up, and now it's just bitter jealousy between these two.
Sounds interesting. I mean, I dig it.
And Piper Niven wins in 12 minutes. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Skylar.
All right. Done. See you. Bye.
See that match.
I mean, Piper Niven wins. It's the right move. I think she has a little bit of a higher ceiling than Raquel because she's more experienced.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And I feel like she's overall a better worker in general.
Yeah.
Not that Raquel isn't bad, but it's just she's a little bit green. Also, I have a heel 4 champion stable. I need baby faces.
Right. Yeah. So I think Niven is the right move. I like how both of y'all are taking her in different directions, but also still very seriously, which is nice.
And who knows? Maybe in South Carolina Championship Grassland, you may do the feud there and there too.
I don't know. All I know is if Piper starts beating up Maiko Satomura or any Japanese chick you have on your show, my eyebrows are gonna be raised at you, sir.
That's right.
I don't have any Japanese women. I had Asuka, and I got rid of her as soon as I could.
Yeah, and Piper Niven's the one that kicked her out of the door.
Had to happen. Had to do it.
Anyways, we're going to go backstage for a little segment, if you will. This segment involves the Usos and Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins walks into the locker room, and he goes up to the Usos, and he asks where Roman is, because he needs to talk to him about what happened last month. And Jey Uso starts off, "Yo, Us, Roman's not here right now. He's getting ready for his big match on the Atlantic coast. But you want to talk to Roman? That's funny, because Roman don't want to talk to you. Now, the other brother will come in. Jimmy Uso. I can't believe I blanked on his name for a second. The other brother from the same mother. You lost your match. Why would Roman want to talk to a loser like you? See this? They hold up their championships. We won our matches. We win our championships. What have you done for us?" And Seth Rollins counters, "Listen, I helped you guys win those titles. I helped Roman become the man he is. You can't throw me out like this. I deserve equal rights. After all, I'm a part of the War Council." But of course, Jey Uso responds, "You may be part of the War Council, but my man, Us, you're not blood, are you? And blood is thicker than water." And Jimmy says, "We have a message from Roman. You are done. You're out. The War Council doesn't have room for people like you." Actually, now that we think about it, we're really not a War Council. We're more of a bloodline, if you know what I mean. Of course, this is all distracting Seth Rollins, and he doesn't see that Jacob Fatu has stood right behind him. And Seth Rollins can feel it. He turns around, and Fatu does one Samoan spike to the throat, and Seth Rollins is on the ground, breathing for air. And Jacob Fatu, the monster he is, picks up Seth Rollins and throws him through the wall.
Damn.
Wow.
Light wall, huh?
Or powerful Jacob Fatu.
That's right.
Or both.
But not the plywood wall that they threw Coachman when they spray painted his ass, DX did. A little bit thicker than that.
A little bit thicker. He yeeted him through the wall.
That giggle. He said yeet and Joshua went hee hee.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's no longer a War Council. It's a bloodline with the Usos, Jacob Fatu, and Roman Reigns. And Seth Rollins is gone. Literally.
Yeah.
Well,
Threw him out the building through a wall.
yeah, brutal. Absolutely brutal. But you know Seth Rollins, when he gets put through a wall, he puts on some weird-looking suits and he wants his revenge.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
And, when they say blood is thicker than water, who is the one that signifies water? The drip god.
That is true. That is true. Anyways, we're going to move on from that shitty gimmick. Instead, we're going to move on to a different gimmick. The Usos are in action tonight against your New Day.
Okay.
Now, because the New Day helped out Kurt Angle in defeating the Almighty Crew at the last pay-per-view, they've been rewarded with this tag team title match.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into it because you guys have seen Uso and New Day matches. They're always really good, even if they are, Uso and New Day matches.
Sure.
Finish for this match after 15 minutes of hard wrestling is that Xavier Woods and Big E, who are the two who are in the ring, Kofi is the one that's outside.
Got it.
And the Usos are battling it out, and all four men end up going down after they all take each other's signatures. And here comes Cesaro and Sheamus, who assault Kofi first, then go into the ring with chairs and start beating up everybody in the ring. And it's a double disqualification.
Damn.
Or no contest. And the Bar just laid down the law, kicking the Usos and the New Day's asses.
It's kind of nice to see the Bar kind of getting some gust in their sails. Because it's kind of, we both had kind of this issue of finding where to put them to some description. So it's kind of nice to have them come out, even if this is a double DQ, it's still nice to have them come out and actually do something of value. You know?
At least I made them former champions in my company.
That's right. Yeah, they were just dead stranded in ACPW, and I felt so bad for them. But if you love them,
Josh
set
was
them free.
booking them to wrestle against a boy and his dinosaur.
That is true, but they won.
They did beat the boy and his dinosaur. That is true.
They beat a boy and his dinosaur. That's not impressive. That's beating up black preachers and a couple of Samoan rappers.
That's right.
God damn it.
That's how they do. I mean,
I could have had him lose to the dinosaur and his friend.
you
Make
could
a good
have.
point.
I concede.
Oh boy, words.
Anyways, we're gonna move on to the next match. Singles match: Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, 1-on-1.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this match 14 minutes. Back and forth match. Bianca gets the shine at first, then Rhea Ripley gets the heat spot. Bianca sells. She makes her comeback. Finish for the match is that Bianca is going to go for the KOD. Rhea Ripley reverses it and does a little thing where she shoves the referee into Bianca and takes advantage of this, grabs Bianca's hair, pulls it, and Bianca's head hits the mat hard. She picks up Bianca and hits the riptide for the 1-2-3.
Rhea winning here, I think, makes more sense because I still, and this is no disrespect to Bianca, but I still think there's more marketability and value in babyface Rhea Ripley against the Horsewoman than there is Bianca. Not to say that she's going to in any way be worse in that same fight, but I still think that Rhea is kind of the bigger card name to put in that position.
Except for the fact that I have Rhea Ripley clearly here being a heel. And she's always been a heel in my company.
Which is true, but just by sheer numbers, they're going to come after her eventually.
And she would be the babyface in that situation, I guess.
So, while she's being a dick, people like dicks. Quote that, everybody. Take that out of context.
Any comments, Joshua?
Sorry, no, I was just fantasizing when Sean said that.
I bet you were.
Well, why don't you put your dynamic duo back in your pants?
All right, zip.
Thank you.
That wasn't a real zipper. That was you just saying the word zip.
You got me caught with my hand in my cookie jar.
I bet.
Anyways, so because of that little incident that happened earlier with Seth Rollins, he's been taken out of the number one contendership ladder match. So now it's just a 7-man ladder match.
Okay.
So Jacob Fatu making his statement known early.
He's gonna be a player, definitely, in NWL going forward.
Yep.
Please tell me his finisher is going to be the Samoan Spike.
It's going to be his signature. I don't know what his finisher is quite yet. I haven't developed it that far.
Okay. I got you.
I mean, there's a lot of finishers I could give Jacob Fatu. I just have to figure out which one works for him.
True.
Hold on, Sean. What's his finisher in MLW?
I believe it's a splash.
Is it from the top rope?
I believe so. I could be wrong, though. He could have something else. I haven't seen one of his matches in a long time, so I don't remember.
We need to make that a match of the week at some point.
At some point.
Anyways, point, though, is that this is going to be just a 7-man ladder match. Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Shinsuke Nakamura, your international champion, by the way, Sami Zayn, Powerhouse Will Hobbs, and Dominic Guerrero.
Let's do it.
It's basically like a Money in the Bank because there is a briefcase with a contract for a world title match at any point in time in the future, but mainly in January.
All right.
I'm gonna give this bad phrasing. This is a 20-minute match. It's the typical ladder match spots that I'm not going to go into. One thing I am going to say is that at one point, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn work together and they put a ladder between the ring and the announce table. And they run people through it, but they don't put anybody through it just yet, okay?
Got it. Big spots. Lots of spots.
Point, though, is that right now, every man is down after they do a bunch of signature and finishers, except for one Shinsuke Nakamura. the international champion, who is climbing the ladder, his broken body willed up by his determination to grab the briefcase. And here comes Jacob Fatu, who grabs Shinsuke and pulls him off the ladder, hits him with the Samoan spike to the throat, and then he lifts up Shinsuke Nakamura above his head in the gorilla press and throws him out of the ring and through that ladder like a sack of shit.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Pain.
So
Here
Jacob
comes the
Fatu rolls out of the ring, his work done. Now, Sami Zayn is the next man up. He's trying to climb the ladder. He gets halfway up the ladder before AJ Styles goes off of the ropes with a phenomenal forearm to Sami Zayn's face. And then AJ is climbing up the ring ropes. The ladder rungs. My bad. And then Kevin Owens cuts him off at the pass, and the two of them start fighting with each other. They throw punches and haymakers, and then they do a double kick to the balls.
Oh, not the double kick to the balls. Wow. Pain.
So then they roll out of the ring. Will Hobbs is up next. He's climbing the ladder. Dominic Guerrero goes off the top rope and jumps onto Powerhouse Will Hobbs' back and does like a modified sleeper hold. And wouldn't you know it, Keith Lee comes underneath of Will Hobbs, grabs his legs, and powerbombs both Will Hobbs and Dominic Guerrero into the mat. Keith Lee, with his body, climbs up to the top of the ladder, grabs the briefcase, and is the #1 contender.
I'm visualizing Will Hobbs getting powerbombed on top of Dominic. Oh.
That'd be something.
It would hurt.
Pain.
It would hurt a lot.
Pain.
Just going splat. That makes me think of that one time that Big Show choke slammed Ryback right on top of the Miz.
Yeah. Ow.
Good. Pancaked the guy.
Pain. You know, every time that you push Keith Lee properly, I get sad.
Yeah.
I know. It's like I wanted this for him. I really wanted this for Keith Lee.
And every time you don't refer to him as Bearcat, I simultaneously get happy and then sad.
Yeah.
AEW, make him a world champion. Fuck it.
Do something. Somebody do something with that man. He's way too talented to just leave him like that. Well done, Sky. I mean, I'm excited to see what Keith Lee and Roman Reigns are going to have to give to each other.
Right, and then the other storylines I have set up with this one match, Shinsuke and Jacob Fatu. Good luck, Shinsuke.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. AJ, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn have a little bit of trouble with each other.
That should be fun as well.
The beauty of the ladder match, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, when it's done right, and because it's not happening all the time on your show, it actually means something. So people would want to come and see it.
I'm picturing it now. Nakamura setting up for the Kinshasa, but halfway there, he just gets smacked right in the throat with a Samoan spike.
I love the Samoan spike as a move. I'm sad no one else has used it since Umaga died.
Yeah. You know, I always liked, kind of in that same vein, you remember that's one time, speaking of Umaga, when Umaga got Shawn Michaels with it right after a nip-up? And I think it was just on this episode of Raw, but Michaels nips up and he's right there with the spike, and and Michaels went down, and Michaels sold like a flopping fish out of water like he always does. But I always remembered that, and it always got that Samoan spike over. So to see the Kinshasa run and then bam, to be just like decked with it, that would be a great visual.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Anyways, the main event will be Charlotte Flair versus the former champion Toni Storm. The horsewomen, as you know, are using horsewoman title defense rules. So any horsewoman can defend the title if they want to.
Right.
Charlotte has chosen, though, to be the representative because her and Toni Storm had beef.
Right.
Because these two have been fighting for basically 2 years now, basically.
Yeah, on and off.
On and off. Now, per the edict of Kurt Angle, only one other person is allowed to be at the ringside area along with Charlotte Flair during the match. Sasha Banks has been picked as the person that will be next to Charlotte, supporting her, because you can't have all four horsewomen at the ring at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be nuts. That'd be a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's not like what Britt Baker does with her 2 valets. What genius puts 2 valets for the same person?
Tony Khan.
Actually, I shouldn't say that because Jinder Mahal had the Singh brothers.
Brodus Clay had both of the Funkadactyls.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but the difference is that the Funkadactyls were at least hot.
Well.
And also the Singh brothers were at least useful. What do Jamie Hayter and Rebel do?
Seth Rollins and J&J Security.
They distract the referee occasionally. For Britt.
And what else?
Rebel yells.
I don't know, answer calls at her dentist office.
More. Okay, sorry.
There were 3 different trains of thought that all just collided at that one moment when we were all talking about 3 different things, and then just wham, and then there's nobody knew what to talk about next.
That was glorious. That's what happens when you put 3 trains at an intersection and they just collide. You can't help but just look at it. You can't look away.
That's roller coaster tycoon level of conversation right there.
Hey, that was my first gimmick, which was singing songs.
That's right. That's true.
Copyrighted.
That is true.
I had to bring that back. Love you, Billy Idol.
There you go.
Anyways, this match with Toni and Charlotte goes 18 minutes. It's going to be mostly Charlotte in control of Toni Storm's right leg and setting up for the figure 8. Toni does make her comeback. The finish for the match is that Sasha Banks gets on the ring apron to complain, and this gives time for Charlotte to try and do the figure 8, but Toni is able to power out of it. As she powers out of it, though, here comes Becky Lynch to hit Toni from behind, and Toni goes down. Charlotte grabs the leg. Sasha gets down from the apron. The referee looks and sees Toni Storm and Charlotte does the figure 8, and Toni has to tap out.
Speaking of rehashed gimmicks, Charlotte wins LOL. Welcome back.
Oh, yeah. Taps to the queen.
Taps to the queen. Now, Bayley has also joined the ringside area, and 4 of them start stomping down on Toni Storm's leg. A couple more referees have come to help out, and there are 4 referees who are pulling off the horsewomen, but unfortunately none of them get to Charlotte, who grabs Toni Storm's leg, goes to the ring post, and starts doing the figure 8, figure 4 modified into the ring post with Toni Storm's right leg. More referees come, now there's 6 of them, and they grab Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha Banks and start pulling them away. But no one has grabbed Becky Lynch, who's at the timekeeper's area. She grabs a chair, runs over to Toni Storm, and does one concerto with the chair, Toni's leg, and the ring post. And Toni just has to reach for her leg after that. Becky joins her fellow horsewomen halfway up the stage. They all hold up 4 fingers and the 1 championship as the referees tend to Toni, and the show goes to black.
I like the fact that the women's championship main events this show. I really do.
Given that I don't have Roman Reigns on this show, the next most prestigious title has to be the one that main events. And I debate about the ladder match, but I want to give the women the chance to shine because they deserve it.
Oh, yeah.
And with the considering that the horsewomen angle is really one of your top angles going forward, going into season 3, which there will be, folks. I mean, I'm sure that you all kind of figured that out. But yes, we are going to be doing this into 2022. We are very excited for a new draft, and we're going to be doing new storylines, but we've got the traces of storylines going into that year, so stay tuned for all of that. This was a good finish. I liked the aftermath of this. I like the fact that these 4 are behaving like those 4 delinquent kids on the playground, where they can't, the teachers can't quite get a rein on all of them. So that one person is always doing some shenanigans, like those 4 kids in the Wind Waker.
The original Horseman.
That's right. Like those 4 kids in the Wind Waker who are just trying to please the woman by giving her joy pendants. That's a reference for you kiddos out there. Go play GameCube.
That because I watched Game Grumps.
Great show,
I got
Sky.
Thank you. It's more setup than I would have liked, but it's what I had to do.
Yeah,
You
I
have
mean,
to have setup shows.
yeah, you gotta have setup shows, and I think this does a good job of getting what you want to do going forward, but also keeping a lot of other areas open to kind of change things up. Like, you've got maybe like 3 really good pieces going into next year, 3 or 4. And then the rest is kind of just trickled in based on how you draft, based on maybe the direction you want to take one championship or another. So you've got a lot of versatility here. So this, I do like how this show was, and it obviously ended in a good match too.
Right.
I honestly, if this was like an actual show, like on television, I would totally watch it.
Yeah, me too.
And as much as you say that, like, maybe this was a disappointing episode, I don't agree. I mean, I don't agree with that because you have to have storyline progression. You have to have the slower episodes.
Yeah, for sure. So
I don't think it turned out bad. It's just that it's not what I wanted, but it's what I had to do. And sometimes you have to book shows like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Rembrandt didn't make all his paintings every day perfect paintings. There's a lot of shit that he threw into the trash, or was just like, oh, this is good, I'll just make it better next time. You know, so like, you gotta have those, you got the masterpieces, but you need the ones that are just pieces, which are nice, and work, and still sell.
If you blow your wad too much, eventually you'll just be shooting blanks.
You'll just be holding your dynamic duo.
Yeah, saying, come on, more!
So, well done, Sky.
Thank you.
Well done.
Now that we have gotten my disappointing show out of the way, we need to get to your big show.
Well, it's the big show. That's right, folks. That's right, folks. It is ACPW's Winter Warcraft 2021. Winter Warfare, excuse me. Winter Warfare.
Warcraft. This is not that stupid game, is it?
Winter Warcraft was last year, and then we lost the rights, and so now we're doing Winter Warfare because we're territory. So there you go.
Quick, what's the theme song for this show, Sean?
The theme song for this show is actually all
it's
the
probably a bootleg of like War Machine's theme.
No, it's the Six Flags theme with that old wrinkly guy. And we got the Looney Tunes coming in the ring. They're all anyway. No, this is
Looney Tunes. Didn't you borrow the Young Bucks from me?
That's right. Oh, true. Oh, come on. Don't insult the Looney Tunes like that.
I know, they draw so much more than the Young Bucks ever did.
They totally did. Winter Warfare.
Even Space Jam 2 did suck.
Winter Warfare, I didn't watch it because I don't care about LeBron.
Don Cheadle was the villain.
Okay, all right, maybe I will watch it then.
No, you have War Machine as the villain, and now everything has come full circle.
Well, there's no Don Cheadle at Winter Warfare in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'll tell you that much.
Oh man.
Now, but I do have to tell you this. This is the first time that I actually did the math on all the timing and the minutes and how long everything's going to go, entrances, exits, matches, all of that. And on this pay-per-view show that you can get for $50 from your local pay-per-view provider, you are going to be getting 2 hours and 50 minutes of solid wrestling action. So,
I'm squeezing my dynamic duo at that information.
So, we are not going to be giving you is our major WrestleMania or, our biggest show of the year. You're not going to be getting a 6-hour show where you're begging for mercy at the end of it. That's not how we do things in ACPW, so we're going to keep it to a regular-sized show for regular people who do regular things. So, are you gentlemen ready?
Oh, yes.
I really hope we don't get broken during the middle of this.
Oh, I don't think you will. So we're going to...
came very close several times.
That's right. Well, we start with Eli Drake versus Randy Orton.
What?
Yes, that's right. We are starting. Matt Stryker and Taz go, hello, welcome to Winter Warfare in Charlotte, North Carolina, where there's no snow, and that's the way we like it. And we are having this matchup. can you guess? So Eli Drake comes down. Randy Orton comes out by himself. How long do you think this matchup goes?
Skylar, you go first.
Who cares?
Okay. Joshua?
No. I'm going to say 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. Joshua?
For our opening contest here at this huge pay-per-view event, I'm going to go 12 minutes.
Unfortunately, you have both lost Price is Right rules. You are
Damn
both
you, Bob Barker.
You are both over. This match only goes 5.
Wow.
Is it a squash?
No, it's not a squash. It's just short. Because Randy Orton, they do from the jump. Orton starts doing some thumbs to the eyes. He starts healing pretty quick. And Eli can't really get his bounds because, of course, this matchup was brought because Eli Drake challenged Randy Orton. And Orton took exception to that. So Orton immediately kind of gets the jump. It's not a jump start because they are still going to do a collar and elbow tie-up, but it's very quick to get the heat. Orton goes very early on for the RKO. He does the thing where he's vipering up, for lack of a better phrase, where he's doing the hand things on the mat. And somehow, I don't know how, but Eli Drake has ears and hears this and leaves the ring. Because the one thing that I hate about when Randy Orton does that is the other person incapable of audio clues? Let me just stand there and stagger like an idiot while I know he's revving up for the RKO. No. So Eli Drake gets out of the ring.
Rolls out of the ring like a smart person.
Yes, like someone with a brain, unlike Braun Stupid. And random pot shot, don't worry about it. And Eli hears it and leaves the ring. Orton chases him down, and Orton, he gets him and he reaches over and he tries to get the draping DDT. But as he goes to go for the draping DDT, Eli punches him in the gut, gets a sunset flip to a roll-up with a 2 count. And Orton is pissed. So Orton immediately gets back onto him and starts setting him up because Eli's still getting his bearings a little bit. Orton goes for an RKO, a forearm to the back. Eli rolls back, backslide, 1, 2, 3.
Man.
And Eli Drake has surprised Randy Orton with a quick catch. And there's smiles all around, and the fans got a big pop, and this has got to be, I don't want to call it an upset on Randy Orton, but definitely a surprise that it ended this quickly.
Yeah, especially with someone who has such a status and is kind of, even though he was the legend killer, now he's technically, I guess, a legend. Getting shown up like that, going to turn some heads.
It feels weird watching Randy Orton lose a 5-minute match to open a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah. And that was
I like it.
But you got to also think, at the same time, what has Randy Orton's year been? He lost to Brian Cage. He lost to Titus O'Neil. And now he loses on the opening match to Eli Drake. Ever since he joined Jim Cornette and the Cult of Cornette.
So much for that bounty hunter gimmick.
So there's definitely so that's going on, and Orton's just stunned, right? He's shocked, but he kind of he pushes over a chair and storms out, and JR comes into the ring, says, Eli, a surprise win to be sure, but a good win for you, and what do you have to say just going in after this fantastic win against Randy Orton? Make no mistake about it, JR, and all these people here in Charlotte, they're my people. Because Charlotte, North Carolina, there's a reason we chose this place for our biggest show of the year. Because when we show up, they show out. And there's no better fans on earth. And what they've just witnessed, and what all of ACPW just witnessed, is that anytime, anywhere, any second, I got the edge on all of you. And before too long, the entire world will make no mistake. They'll know the name of Eli Drake.
That's a good way to get someone over.
Thank you.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, WWE.
Yeah, just take notes. That was a 30-second promo. In and out.
And not like
I
AEW
think
where you
NXT
get-
2.0 is doing a great job with him.
And not like AEW where you get a promo and before you even say a word, someone interrupts you.
That's right.
Especially if Tony Schiavone is near you.
That's right. Tony Schiavone, thankfully, is not that bad. He just has to make sure everybody knows he's the announcer here at ACPW. That's Tony's gimmick. But
Hello, I'm Tony Schiavone. Guitar string.
that's the second time that's been referenced this week. So, but you won't know that unless you watch South Carolina Championship Grappling on TAW Gaming.
Grassland.
Hot
right.
diggy.
Hot Tabernacle. Next matchup.
All right.
So we've got that. Eli gets a quick win and an over win against Randy Orton. The next match is Adam Page versus Shorty G with no time limit. Now this match took place because Adam Page and Shorty G a couple of weeks back wrestled to a time limit draw, and Shorty G was very upset about that and interfered with another match that Adam Page had. And now as a result, Arn Anderson has made it so that this match can go as long as it needs to.
I am just sad that I want to see this match like for real.
Thank you.
Because this would be great. This would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sad that it's this low on the card. But there's a reason for that, because Shorty G has been my perennial heel mid-carder, and he has been perfect in that role.
A gimmick that was originally given to you by Joshua that you and me worked together somehow made into viable mid-card heel status.
That's right. From humble beginnings. Well, here's the finish. You ready? Here it goes. Adam
Well,
Page.
how long is this match?
How long do you think the match is?
45 minutes.
I heard both of you at the same time. Wait, Sky, how much, Sky?
45.
Joshua?
36.
You guys are both over by a lot. This show only goes 2 hours and 50 minutes. You think I've got to give the second match on the show 45 minutes?
This match is 2 hours and 49 minutes.
No.
Well, Adam Page is a 60-minute man, so...
Yeah, well, he is, but this match only goes 14.
Bull crap.
And the reason is...
For a match that says, we want no time limits, 14 minutes?
Well, wait till you hear the finish.
Hear him out. Let's hear him out.
Now, I will admit, this finish is a little gimmicky, but I thought it was kind of creative, and just like Dusty Rhodes, gimmicky finishes and dusty finishes are sometimes what you need. Here's what happens.
Baby.
Adam Page hits the buckshot lariat after his comeback. Shorty G rolls out of the ring, but Page has been beaten down, like out-wrestled by Shorty G because he's the grapple master of wherever he lives. And I don't know where Chad Gable's from. I do not remember. But
I can look it up.
here, so while Skylar, the historian, looks it up, that's what, so Shorty G is...
Minneapolis, Minnesota, the same home as Brock Lesnar.
Okay, perfect. So, Minnesota native Shorty G rolls out of the ring, but Page has been beaten down, so he's too weak to actually chase him. So the referee, because Adam Page is really not looking good, he's holding his ribs because he's been suplexed to hell. The referee's kind of tending to Adam Page, right? He's just like asking if he's okay to continue. Meanwhile, Shorty G has crept over to the timekeeper's table and yanks the hammer and rings the bell. And you see Shorty G ring the bell. This isn't like that WWE one where the timekeeper was just told ring the bell and then the referee's like, no. No, that's not what's happening. Shorty G rings the bell. The referee does not know Shorty G has rung the bell, so the second that he drops it and ducks underneath, not under the apron, but like just along the side of the ring. So the referee just sees the timekeeper. And he goes, no, there's no time limits. That's the whole point. You know, it's like we're not there because there's no time limits. Well, while that's happening, Paige has kind of like gotten up and walked a couple steps forward, but the referee's still like talking over the ring to the timekeeper. At that moment, Shorty G runs around the side, hits the inverted Olympic slam, 1, 2, 3 when the referee turns around.
Wow.
That's an interesting finish. It would be really tough to coordinate because you'd have to have Shorty G sneak past everybody so that he could surprise hit Paige with that, but that's really, really creative.
Well, he'd still be crawling kind of like down like next to the apron there. So like he'd still be underneath. He'd be like directly underneath. So unless you were looking right over the side of the ring, you wouldn't see him. But the fans would be like, hey,
as long as the referee is like tending to Paige on the opposite side of the ring and the referee's full attention is on Paige, then I could see that working.
yeah, because the referee will not see Shorty G actually ringing the bell. But he's the one who did it, so it's still a heel fuck finish. But it also plays on the fact that there's no time. Finish. Yeah. But it still plays on the fact that it was no time limit, but you know, it mentions the gimmick. Even though it only goes 14 minutes. Now that we've gone through that, we are moving on. And there really aren't a whole lot of like aftermaths. There's not a whole lot of afters in this match in this show because it's just, you know, it's our major show. Yeah. We got Tony Schiavone in the back. And he is with Adam Cole. And Tony goes, hello, my name is Tony Schiavone, of course, the in-ring announcer here for ACPW, and alongside me, the man I'm interviewing, Adam Cole. Now, Adam, you are in, well, I'm sorry to say, you're actually not in a match. You're actually at ringside for the match between your girlfriend/wife, Britt Baker, and Zelina Vega, who is going to be cornered by Andrade. First of all, why isn't Zelina out here with you? And Adam Cole goes, well, my girl, she's been working so hard to rehab that leg ever since her ankle got busted up by that misfortunate incident. But now she is back and ready to go and ready to take care of business against Zelina, who bragged about the fact that Britt Baker wasn't woman enough to come and face her in the tournament, even though Britt didn't have a choice. But she's in the back, she's getting ready, she's getting in the zone, and I'm going to be there to support her every step of the way, because that's what a good man does, Tony. Don't you agree? And all these people in Charlotte, North Carolina agree too. I know that. You know, because all these people, I know they take care of their wives, they take care of their families. And all you want is a family man. And that's what I'm here to be, is a family man here for my girl, for Britt Baker. And then, and Tony's like, well, all right. And as Tony's about to finish, you hear from the side, oh, how the mighty have fallen. And in walk the ACPW Tag Team Champions, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roderick Strong. Look at you, Adam. Look at you. You're sitting here cutting a promo about being there for your girl. You're not even on the biggest show of the year. You're Adam Cole, baby. Well, you were Adam Cole, baby. Now it's more like Adam Cuck, baby.
Oh!
I mean, this is... Listen, we want to make fun of you, but honestly, Adam, we feel bad for you. Like, this is what you gave up this for? We're the tag team champions. We're going to end the careers of one of the greatest tag teams of all time tonight. You could have been a part of this. But instead you chose... this. It's not even sad, it's pathetic, Adam. This wasn't what we came here for. We came here to dominate. We came here to be wrestling's finest. And when you're watching us end the careers of the Hardys tonight, I just want you to remember that you're the one who made this decision. You're the one who decided not to be a part of this. Enjoy your match, if you can call it that, tonight. Oh, and by the way, if you see Adam Cole, not Adam Cuck, but if you see Adam Cole, tell him that we miss our friend. And they walk out, and Tony stands there, is like, Adam, do you have anything to say about that? And Adam kind of just looks at Tony and just walks away. In another direction, obviously. He's not going to go and chase him, but...
Damn.
Your thoughts?
This is actually some interesting drama.
I don't like Adam Cole in ACPW because I'm not a fan of him being a cuck for Britt Baker. So it's nice that Wrestling's Finest, even if they did it in a bad way, slapped some shit into him.
Well, but did they though? You know, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But those were definitely heavy words. Because Adam Cole has, without a doubt, regressed significantly since his arrival in ACPW, and especially in the last year. To going from being on, the third from last in Winter Warfare last year, to going third from last on the card, to being the backup of a women's match, and that's not a knock on the women's match, but still, card-wise, that's a pretty steep drop.
My favorite part was probably if you see Adam Cole, tell him we miss our friend. I love that part. That was.
Well, it's one of those things where really Adam has changed and not for the better. And even though he's
Isn't
the baby
it amazing
face,
how art imitates real life?
I know.
Because isn't AEW doing this almost exactly the same thing with Kyle O'Reilly?
Kind of. You know, we'll have to see. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly is no cuck, but they're definitely getting the band back together. But
And the Young Bucks ain't no bitches. Oh wait, they are.
That's that. Well, but speaking of ain't no bitches, we got ourselves a women's match, and they ain't no bitches. There are two originals. They're out my two original women. It is the match that Adam Cole is actually going to be out here for. It is Zelina Vega with Andrade versus Britt Baker with Adam Cole.
And just think, Adam Cole, after having Wrestling's Finest talk down to him, now he has to go do this match, supporting his wife / partner.
Yeah. And out comes Adam Cole and Britt. And Adam Cole is a little, he's trying to shake it off, but you can tell he's still a little bit bothered. This match only goes 7 minutes. So here's the finish. Right here it goes. Britt makes the comeback, because I'm not going to tell you all the things that go on in this match. I'm going to let the wrestling speak for itself. So Britt makes the comeback. Then as Britt hits like a huge clothesline, or actually, I'll have her use a cutter that actually looks decent. Because Orton couldn't hit his, so she's going to hit a cutter. Not an RKO, just a cutter.
That is such a wonderful Sean-ism. This guy didn't do his move, so that's how I'll let someone else do the same move except in a different match.
That's right. Because if I'm going to bring up a move, then I've got to make sure that move is only really happening in a match when it needs to happen, and I don't want everybody doing 69. I don't want a super kick counter. You know what I mean?
Like I said when we were wrapping up the SCCG episode, this isn't hard.
Not really.
It's not difficult.
Not really. Well, anyway, so Zelina makes the comeback. Then, as she gets to the ropes, because she's obviously taking a little bit of punishment from the heat, Andrade grabs the leg of Britt to kind of distract her, stop her from making any moves. And this is something I wanted to give Cole a little bit of his moment. Cole is frustrated right now, so I'm going to have Cole hit a last shot, but he actually does it with Andrade standing like fully straight up. So he gets like Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson level altitude hitting this last shot knee to the back of his head. And it's going to look devastating. It is a leaping last shot from Adam Cole that knocks Andrade silly. But the distraction is enough for Zelina to try and get her hammerlock DDT. But Britt, who's just a little bit heavier, who's just a little bit larger, ends up doing more of like a Northern Light suplex to break out of it. And then she just rotates right into the lockjaw. It doesn't take 2 seconds. She is in agony for a little bit, but then she taps.
I would love to see this like actually on TV. That sounds like an awesome segment.
And
it's a good match in the middle of a pay-per-view.
That's right. And then Cole is ecstatic. He's back to his old self. He got all of that sad boy shit out in that kick. So now he's celebrating, and it's almost like he's over-celebrating the fact that she's won, right? He's like, yeah, my girl Britt, she won. Look, he like raises her hand all the time, and like she's happy she won. But then, as they're getting to leave, and Adam Cole's like a little over-enthusiastic, you can kind of see her, one of the last things you see of them is kind of her passing one of those like, what the fuck are you doing glances over to Adam Cole. To where even, you can tell that even Britt's being like, dude, what are you doing? That's going to be important for next year. Wink.
Nudge.
So that's the last little piece of this. And wraps up Adam Cole's path to cuckdom in Season 2 of ACPW. Exactly.
Watch next year when he becomes a Chad.
That was
Wow.
good. That was a good joke.
That was good.
That was a
really
good joke. Will he become a Chad or will he become one of any other names? Find out and place your bets at DraftKings.com.
Will he be a Chad or will he be a Keith?
That's right. Or worse.
Because we all know Keith is the girliest man name.
That's right. Well, speaking of manly men who are not Charlie Sheen and whoever his co-host was that I never remember the name of, it is
Emilio Estevez?
No, not his brother.
Oh, you mean 2.5 Men.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Who has asbestos?
What is happening? It is. I'm having a stroke. It is
It's Ashton Kutcher.
It is FTR.
No, that's the guy that replaced Charlie Sheen.
Oh.
Boy, I'm sorry. I did not mean to start this about 2.5 Men. It's just. All right. Well, there's 4 men in this matchup. It is FTR with Jim Cornette versus Beer Money.
Oh, this would be good.
How long do you think this match goes, Skylar?
12 minutes.
JoshAgeddon?
I'm going 10, and I'm going with FTR since Randy Orton lost earlier.
Well, the only person who's correct is Skylar. It is 12 minutes.
Yeah, I got the money.
It is 12 minutes. So,
I got the beer, I guess.
here's the finish.
Beer money.
That's right. Well, so again, I'm not going to talk much about this. I'm just going to hit the key points here. So, Beer Money makes the comeback. Robert Roode is in the ring, and Cash is the one who's gotten down. James Storm is the one who took the heats for Bobby Roode to make the comeback. So, Roode has made this comeback, but is now being, he's working on Dax, right? Dax is working on him, and they're back. As that, Corny runs over to Cash and gives Cash the tennis racket. But the referee is seeing this, right? He's in the ring, but Corny hands him the tennis racket, I guess because he thinks that Cash will be able to hit him with it. But the referee sees it, he's going to hit him with it. He gets it up above his head, and then the referee sees it. And the referee pulls it back from behind him, and obviously Cash turns around and goes, hey, why you taking my racket? And the guy is, the referee takes it and he, wrenches it from his hands. And as Cash turns around, because he's upset that the racket was taken from him, he turns around right into a Bobby Roode spine buster. And cover, while Dax tries to interfere, Storm heads him off. 1, 2, 3, Beer Money wins.
I would have loved if, like, when he says, why are you taking my racket? For the referee to say, because I don't want you to make any racket.
Yeah, this is a serious program, sir.
Get out of here with your comedy SCCG bullshit.
That's right. You have no power here.
You have no power.
Anyway, so
rips off my shirt to show how white I am. I'm JoshAgeddon, the white
that's
boy.
right. Oh Christ.
This devolved.
So, but FTR, once again, this has not been the greatest year for the Cult of Cornette, and they started with all of the championships.
And they could lose it all tonight in the main event.
That's right.
They're winless on this show so far.
That's right. Orton takes an L, FTR takes an L, which means that Jeff Cobb, the world's champion, who you will see in our main event take on the massive humanitarian, the current people's champion of ACPW, Titus O'Neil, in our main event. But we got more
Didn't
matches.
Titus O'Neil also win Father of the Year?
Sure did. He won every Happy Man award they could. Brightest teeth. There you go, right there, Titus O'Neil. Good win.
Until Roman Reigns took it.
Well, potentially. Well, we'll see him later. Next up, and I can't believe this match is this low on the card. But the reason it's this low on the card is that there's just bigger matches happening. And that's crazy to think of, but it is Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman versus Brian Cage.
Oh.
There's a reason why this match is low on the card.
Once again, I'm grabbing my dynamic duo.
Sky, would you like to elaborate a little bit on that? Because I know what you mean, but I don't know if the listeners do.
There's a certain man in this match that you have fallen out of favor with.
Yeah, I just... His AEW stuff has not done it for me. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone hates Paul Heyman. Anyways, 5-minute match. 5-minute match.
Of course, 5 minutes is your guess? How about you, Joshua?
Yes.
I'm going to go with 8.
This match goes anywhere between 3 minutes to 4 minutes.
Yeah, I win.
I'm going to give you well, no, you were both over, so none of you get nothing.
Damn it, I got beer again.
And no, you
both have beers.
So, here you go. This is basically, I'm going to give you the whole match pretty much. So, it's a lock. The bell rings. Lockup. Brock Lesnar. Now, you got to remember that Brian Cage is a good deal shorter than Brock Lesnar. So there is going to be a height and weight advantage that Brian Cage is not going to have over Brock. Even though this feels like a Haas fight, Brock is still going to have a pretty clear advantage, at least by appearance. Well, it's a lockup. Brock Lesnar pushes him down and does his little joggy thingamaboop, and Brian Cage gets up. They go for a lockup. Brian Cage ducks the lockup, shoots off the rope, hits a discus clothesline, which is his finish. Brock Lesnar doesn't go down.
Oh.
He just stands there and laughs. And then a second he stands there and laughs, Brian Cage goes to hit him, and Brock immediately gets him into the corner for the shoulder tackles. And he's hitting him in the gut with the shoulder tackles. And he goes down there. He hits a big belly to belly, and he goes all the way off to the other side. And then we get not 1, not 2, but 3 German suplexes as Brock is just having fun. And then he pulls up Brian Cage, and Brian starts getting some shots into the gut to Brock Lesnar. And he shoots off Brock Lesnar, goes to hit another discus clothesline. Brock Lesnar ducks it this time, German number 4. Paul Heyman looks up, says, "Brock, end it." Brock picks Brian Cage up, F5, 1, 2, 3. That's it.
Damn. I would, again, like just about every match on the show, I would love to actually watch this. Because this would be great. Just watching him because Brian Cage, he's a thick boy. Watching Brock just throw him around the ring and demolish him, especially the reaction from the crowd to Brian Cage hitting the discus and not knocking Brock Lesnar down would be just, the crowd would just eat it up.
That would probably be the moment of the match, if I were to guess.
Oh, yeah.
It's what you needed to do. It's what you needed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Skylar is somebody who's been here from the start of how all this went down. From Brian Cage getting rubbed the wrong way, or Paul Heyman getting rubbed the wrong way by Brian Cage refusing Paul Heyman's offer to mentor him, to the demolishment of Trevor Mann, whose condition is still unknown, to this match.
Tenderized.
That's right. So this is what had to happen. Brock Lesnar dominant in his pay-per-view debut against Brian Cage.
The problem is just that Brian Cage is a muscle jughead, and there's nothing else to him.
And his work in AEW has kind of dissuaded me from the fact that he could work really much beyond the style that I've given him up to this point. It's like I'm running out of gas with him. I guess is the way that I'd put it.
To the point where he may not even be on your roster next year.
It's true. It's true. And unfortunately, I couldn't prop him up to give him to you the way you did with Otis. But in any case.
Nikolai Dragunov.
That's right. Let's move on, shall we? Now we're getting into the cream of the crop. Now, I'm sure you're going to be a little surprised that this match is going after Brock Lesnar and Brian Cage. And keep in mind that there's going to be some sort of pay-per-view plugged thing for something else that they're going to want you to buy during these things. So that's where some of these in-between times kind of fill in. So it's not just like you're getting bombarded match. You know, there is some breathing time.
I'm sure Manscaped has to get their ad in there.
Yeah. You know, time for people to go to the bathroom without missing any of the action. You know, grab a thing of nachos if you want. Get the little squirty cheese that goes in that little corner thing. You know,
I'm confused.
As you
Have you
should
ever been
be.
to a sports event, Joshua?
No.
You ever been to a
You
wrestling
need to
show?
go then.
A small one.
Well, we're gonna have to bring you some wrestling. We're gonna have to actually launch South Carolina Championship Grappling so you understand what it's all about. Because those nachos with the squirty cheese that goes in the little corner, that's like crucial. That's the key to a good wrestling show. $3 a pop. Get it like 6 times if you want to. You know, it's like
I
don't want to say what that sounds like, but do we want to say what that sounds like?
I want my ringtone to be those nacho things that go.
it's right.
I want that to be my ringtone.
Well, talk to me
really
after the
alarm.
show. Talk to me after the show because we got a major match coming up right now. It is the finals of the ACPW Women's Championship Tournament. It is Camille one-on-one with Serena Deeb. That's right, this match is going on in the second half of the show because it's a championship match and it deserves respect.
I like it.
So, this is not going to be very flashy. I'm going to spoil it for you. I'm not going to have you bet on this one. It's 8 minutes long. Just enough time to get in and get out without exposing Camille for as green as she probably is. Isn't it going to be too flashy? Deeb goes to, makes a comeback against Camille's very power-oriented offense. Deeb tries to put in the Serenity Lock, and Camille just, hoists her, right off her with her leg strength. And then, as Serena Deeb comes back, kind of like that fiery pit bull, Camille just hits a small thumb with her big painted-ass nails, thumb to the eye to daze Serena, which is enough for a gut-wrench power slam for the pin. And it's worth noting that the referee is on Camille's left side, so when she does that thumb to the eye, it's on the right side, so the referee isn't necessarily seeing it with the way that Camille's covering up from the rapid-fire punches that Serena Deeb is actually giving. So this might actually be a blind thumb to the eye. And Camille wins the ACPW Women's Championship, our first.
Congratulations to Camille, and I actually, seeing it in my mind, a gut-wrench power slam, that would be a really cool finishing move.
Yeah, it's.
Did you borrow that from a Jack Swagger?
Is it a gut-wrench? Is it a power slam or a power bomb?
Power slam. So she's
I
literally
gotcha.
so she's lifting him up onto her shoulder and then power slamming him down from that gut wrench position.
That's a
geez.
badass looking move right there.
You gotta give that thing a name.
Yeah. For right now, it's just Camille's devastating gut wrench power slam. If we'll give it a name eventually.
Trademark pending.
That's right. It's a working title.
Now here's my thing. When you heard my jealousy over the fact that you drafted her, did you plan on making her your champion just to spite me?
No, I plan on making her my champion if I drafted her. If I got her, she was going to be champion. If I didn't, then wasn't sure where I was going to go. But it was always the plan for Camille to win the championship. It was just the path to get there.
And the sound of guttural pain on Skylar's part was just
Beautiful.
further vindication for Sean.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Well,
that was a bonus.
But it's the right decision because as much as I would have loved Camille, I feel like she works better in your division because my division was more established. It had more established names in it. I don't know if I could have her beat the Horsewoman.
Yeah, now that's actually a really good point because like Camille is obviously green, but if you showcase her right with people who are also kind of getting established, you can get her over easier. But if she's facing people consistently like the Horsewomen on a regular basis, she's gonna get exposed. And so this,
right?
So
That's
I agree.
why I have the winners I had. I had Rhea Ripley and Piper Niven, both of whom have worked with the Horsewomen, and they're experienced enough that they can do it. Bianca's also another one that I could have had. Raquel's not ready for that.
Right. So there's our women's championship.
Protect your moneymaker.
That's right.
Moneymaker.
So, and Camille is definitely our women's moneymaker. So this is and of course Serena Deeb would put her to a serviceable match. If she had one with Riho, she could do it with Camille.
She could do it with anybody.
That's right. So she's the woman I trust the most to give Camille a match that makes her look like $1 million.
By the way, do you know how long currently her NWA Women's Championship title reign is?
It's got to be going on 5-6 months now, right?
She won it in June. Right now, it's 201 days.
Yeah, she's had it for a while. I don't know how many times she's defended it, but she's had it.
She's had a couple of defenses.
Well, we'll have to actually watch some matches.
A fair number of defenses.
We'll have to take a peek at those and see how she's doing, because I haven't seen much of her work lately. Well, now, last promo of the night. Then it's just matches from there on in. Tony Schiavone is in the back with MJF.
Oh, boy.
Now, Tony Schiavone says, "Hello, I am Tony Schiavone, ACPW's in-ring announcer, and here I am backstage, where I am actually most of the time. I don't know why I said in-ring, because it's Memorial Day weekend after all. And
dear God, do not do this.
In this next match is for the United States Championship.
The national title on the line.
The National Championship of the nation.
Anyway, hello, I'm Tony Schiavone, backstage announcer for ACPW, and I am here alongside MJF. Now, Max, this is a pretty huge night for you. Not only are you facing a man of definitely some prestige in Roman Reigns, you are representing ACPW, so to speak, and we got the word that you will be facing Roman Reigns, per your request, for the NWL World Championship here tonight. What do you have to say? And before Tony goes on, he goes, wait, really? Wait, did he actually sign that? I put that in as a joke. I didn't think he'd actually be... You think I want that Hasbro belt? I could go to Michael's down the street from where I live and make a belt that's more prestigious than the one that Moana's bringing to this matchup. Okay? Oh my God, Tony, you just made my day. You know, I was so... I was actually, admittedly, I was starting to get a little in my head. And you just totally made my mood. God, what a joke. What a joke that this guy thinks he's so important. This guy thinks he's so important that he can mention my name for no reason. He's so important that he has to come here and buy a ticket, by the way. He wasn't invited to come and say that he's the head of the table and that his table extends cross-country. And it's not for nothing, but I don't sit at the same table as dogs. So tonight, I'm going to beat the NWL back to the NWL. I'm going to show, like I've said from the start, that this is the place where professional wrestlers who are serious about professional wrestling come and wrestle. And when Roman Reigns is exposed for just being another white meat, white-toothed guy who does anything he wants because he thinks that he's the top dog in the entire country, when he's humbled, put back in the kennel, and shipped back off to California, he'll remember these words and these words alone. I'm better than you, and you know it. Screw his title.
Just way to take a shit on my company, man.
Just a complete and total evisceration.
It's Max. It's MJF.
I mean, we know we can do it. It's just...
I'm just more like amazed at how good of an MJF you can do, Sean. That was right on the money.
Thank you.
Especially the Moana joke. That got me.
Yeah, that was,
I mean, I assume Sean has watched enough NJF to be able to copy his mannerisms. Like, he would laugh like that in real life.
yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I love that. I love that.
No, and you would think MJF would be the kind of guy to just put in like, oh, well, give me your title, just as a joke. And be like, he's not going to sign that. There's no way he's going to sign that. And then he actually does. He's like, wait, really? Wait, for real?
That's so great. I love that.
So that's the way that MJF, and this realistically is the way that MJF would play off a title.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we'll have to see how this match, but definitely Roman Reigns is backstage. He's in the locker room. He heard that.
I'm sure he's not going to be happy about the fact that his title is being made fun of.
His title's desecrated. His company's desecrated. He's desecrated. He gonna be a pissed off man. But we've got more to come before. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We have 4 more matches. And these are doozies. Match 10 is the grudge match. The match we've all been waiting for. Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes in a bull rope match.
Ooh.
How long do you think this match goes, Skylar?
20 minutes.
Joshua?
I was going to say the same thing, 20 minutes.
I gave it 16.
Damn it.
But I don't think
We
4...
just keep going over. None of us goes under.
You do. That's right. So, well, that's what we want in wrestling, right? That's the goal in wrestling, is to go over. So,
yeah, you know what? You're right.
So you're doing a good job. Keep it up. So, here's the finish.
Well, we're going over by ourselves, so and you don't like that, so you're going to do whatever you can to bury us.
That's right. Well,
hey, calm down, Triple H.
That's right. Well, this is Cody, but he's not going to bring out a golden shovel this time. I promise. So, and he's not going to smash a throne with a sledgehammer because he's edgy. No, none of that.
We can only hope.
All right. No, this match is going to have both of them get juice, and they're going to beat the teetotal shit out of each other for 15 minutes. And
I like it.
And it be glorious. I'm not going to tell you what they do. It's them two with a hand tied to a bull rope and a cowbell in the middle. This is an old...
And Shakily Dagley, Katie Forbes.
Well, no. She's not there.
No?
Because as she comes down, Cody's like, this ain't the time. I'll see you in the back. I'm not going to have her sit there for a bloody fight between two people with a big bull rope where she can get hurt. If Cody really cares about her, he doesn't want her involved in that. So I guess Cody really cares about Katie Forbes. Isn't that sweet, guys?
Is it, though?
I mean, so he's down here alone. He's taking care of business. So anyway, so now Cody has obviously gotten heat. They're both busted open. And Dustin has got this point. Here's where we're going to the finish. Dustin's got the bull rope. And he's ready. And he's about to, he's got it ready to lock Cody. And Cody's backpedaling. He's backpedaling in the corner. There's blood dripping down his face. There's blood dripping down Dustin's face, which doesn't have any face paint on it. And Cody is now starting to hold back, and he's putting his hands up. He goes, I'm sorry, Dustin. I'm sorry. And you can start to see the tears cry, like, I never meant this to happen. And you're not hearing this audibly. You're kind of just seeing the facials, because I'm not going to be like Kevin Dunn. We're like, let's mic up the ring as loud as we possibly can. so that
we can read their lips.
Yeah.
Cody is saying these things.
But you can see the I'm sorry. You're seeing the tears. You're seeing the blood. And now it's tense, but Cody slowly gets up, and Dustin's talking, and the fans are kind of seeing, like, it kind of looks like maybe Dustin's gotten to Cody. And Cody is crying, and you could see actual tears from Cody coming down as the blood's pouring down, and Dustin's starting to cry, and these two brothers are having such a sweet moment. It's tense, but because Dustin's not sure, but Cody, you could see that look of sincerity in his eye. You could see it, and And then Dustin finally embraces Cody, and the second that he embraces Cody for the hug and the crowd pops, Cody hoofs him in the nads. And when Dustin gets hoofed in the nads, Cody does, for lack of better phrasing, does the hangman angle. So he takes that bull rope and wraps it 3 times around the neck so that it's not actually choking Dustin. And throws the rope over the top rope and pulls back with a foot on it so that Dustin looks like he's dangling there choking, right? That he's being hung, and his face is starting to get purple, and the referee is fine. It's like he doesn't want to stop the match because it's a bull rope match, but finally it's like he's had enough because otherwise Dustin's going to pass. He's going to be seriously hurt. So the referee finally
die.
So the referee finally pushes Cody off and releases the pressure, and Cody and Dustin just slumps down. And Dustin is just on the ground, slumped. And Cody, during that whole time, the camera gets to him, and he's got like the eyes just like half closed. This uncaring, emotionless when he's doing this. It's not the anger, it's not the fear, it's nothing. It's just like that serial killer stare, right? Just absolutely nothing. And then when Cody gets pulled back, he kind of snaps out of it. He's got the rope on his hand still, and he just starts pulling, just reeling in with the rope Dustin. And then you see just the hand come up of Dustin as he's reeling it in, and then the shoulder. And then Cody finally pulls the shoulder of Dustin, who is not moving. Pulls Dustin in, rolls him over, puts one foot on his chest. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Question. Did you get inspiration from that TNA dog collar match?
No.
Okay, good. Although that was pretty brutal, the scene of Vampiro choking out the guy by throwing him over the ropes and then choking him and hanging him with the rope.
You want to see somebody do it right? Watch the first 2 or 3 months of TNA with Ron Killings. Because he did that angle on 3 or 4 different people, and it looked more brutal and more vicious every time he did it. And that's what really kind of got him over for me as a serious talent prior to SCCG coming along. And that's one of those things. That's where I took it from, is actually Ron Killings, but never to this degree. You know, and it was never like that so much. And because this is something.
The first time I ever saw that spot was in the Batista Triple H Hell in a Cell match, where Triple H used a chain to do that to Batista.
Yep. Yeah, and then they never did. I don't think they've ever done that since. You know, and this is so this is where I wanted to do this because it was so personal. It's so deep. Cody feigned the sincerity that he was sorry for the things he'd done, and then nearly killed his brother with no emotion whatsoever. Like that you're dead to me look, you're not my brother, and I put you to bed down like the dirty filth that you are. And Cody just is that apathetic
it's the right
stare.
way to go with Cody. He has to be this brutal, unforgiving heel. This will get boos. Even if Cody is not a good actor, and I don't think he could pull that off in real life.
Fair.
But it's one of those things where if Cody was actually booked as a serious malice heel, he would get over, rather than what they're doing right now with this kind of half-hearted ass heel turn that they're doing.
Yeah. Well, and this unleashes that. It shows that Cody, you know, for as much as he does that pompous, I'm saying really nothing while boosting up my Rhodes family royalty, you know, blah, blah, blah. But then when it gets to nut cutting time, in a match against his brother, he turns it on. You know, he gets into that viciousness, that maniacalness that has brought this together, you know, because Dustin was just trying to beat some sense into Cody, and Cody got the one up. And realistically, there's a lot more mileage in Cody than there is in Dustin at this juncture.
But you can always revisit it if Cody ever has a change of heart.
Yes. So,
assuming he has a heart.
That's right. That's right. So, what are your thoughts on this, Joshua?
Once again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I would love to see this like live. And it makes me think of their Double or Nothing match, except this sounds way more vicious and violent. And the finish of like him being hanged until he's unconscious and then he drags him in slowly and pins him, like that would just put a hush over the crowd.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect kind of uncomfortable.
And he didn't even need to mention children.
Not the children. Anything but the children.
Oh, just you wait, Silas.
Just you wait. So there's that matchup, and that I had been building that matchup from the beginning, for pretty much since the feud with MJF. You know, with Cody's, with the double turn with Cody and MJF, and then building this heel to just like tyrannic, delusional levels. And that was what Cody needed, but to have somebody like Dustin to work with to really finalize how over that gimmick was getting, this was a match that Cody needed to have. Now, we got 3 more. And this one's pretty big. It is MJF and Roman Reigns. It is a 30-minute time limit. And it is a singles match. Of course, this match was brewed from a multi-promotional battle, war of words, so to speak. And
more ambitious crossover than Spider-Man.
That's right. That's right. Now, this match, I'm not going to talk to you about the timestamp. I'm not going to let you guess. So this matchup, for the majority of it, MJF and Roman Reigns, MJF is out technical wrestling Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns has the power moves. He hits the drive, he's got a drive by. He's got a big, he doesn't hit a big Superman punch early, but he's got the big moves, that power bomb where he lifts him up again and hits him with a power bomb. So it's big moves from Roman, and he's getting offense in, significant offense, and not for nothing, this is the NWL World Champion. So this match is hot. It's hot and heavy, and Roman's looking good. But MJF is staying toe to toe until the heat spot, and then Roman Reigns really starts to take over. You could see the trash talking. You could see the smacking. You could see Roman Reigns' body language. He's clearly feels superior to MJF. He's beating MJF down, and the crowd is really, and Roman Reigns is letting the crowd know that he thinks he's above them as well. So they're just booing the absolute piss out of Roman Reigns as this match goes on. Here's the finish. Roman Reigns says it's time. He gets to the corner. He's getting ready for the spear. MJF gets up and dodges the spear, and then immediately hits a Russian leg sweep after Roman Reigns hits the corner. He doesn't get completely posted, but he still, he kind of stops himself before he gets posted. And then that's enough for MJF to hit a Russian leg sweep to start the comeback. Gets the comeback going. Roman Reigns stops it a couple times, but MJF comes with fire. Hits the Better Than You pile driver, because it's still a working title, and that's all I got. Formerly known as the Heat Seeker. And after he hits the Heat Seeker, Roman Reigns rolls out of the ring. Again, because these people are smart. MJF follows. Once the count reaches 7 and Roman Reigns doesn't look like he's trying to come back in, MJF starts going out there, goes after him. But Roman Reigns has had 7 seconds to recover. So Roman Reigns rolls in to the ring. MJF follows, but by that time Roman Reigns has got a head of steam, shoots up the rim, Superman punch to MJF, and MJF gets completely rocked down. Back into the corner goes Roman Reigns. He does his little ooh-ah, and he hits the spear. That's right. And then as this time the spear hits, and MJF is there, Roman Reigns goes to pin 1, 2, but MJF is too close to the ropes and gets his foot on the ropes. Not enough. Roman Reigns is pissed because he thought that was it. Now he goes again for another spear. And when he goes for a spear, the spear misses. And then MJF is starting to rain in punches. It starts to get to be a little bit of a back and forth with the punches. And then finally, Roman Reigns gets the advantage on him down, shoots him off. Both MJF and Roman Reigns hit either side of the ropes on either side. Double clothesline. Down they go. And as the double clothesline comes in, MJF is slowly getting to his feet. Roman Reigns is still down. MJF is on like a knee, and he gets to his feet and starts to walk towards Roman, who's starting to get up. And it's time. It's a draw. 30-minute draw.
Oh.
And MJF is pissed because he was like, this was it. So now he's arguing with the referee. He's like, come on, 5 more minutes. And you see him hold up 5 more minutes. And the crowd's going, come on, 5 more minutes. You know, let him finish the match. They all want to finish the match. And as he's complaining to the referee, what they don't see is that Roman Reigns has grabbed his title and has snuck away and is no longer at ringside. Roman Reigns has left. And MJF looks around and he's looking for Roman, and Roman's gone. So it's a draw. And MJF is like, oh, okay, and he raises his hand, and the crowd still cheers him because what a hell of an effort against the NWL World Champion, going toe-to-toe with a prestigious World Champion, despite what MJF says, and coming to a draw. He couldn't beat the champion, but the champion didn't beat him either.
I feel like there's no other way you could have gone with that.
I agree.
You couldn't. Well, yeah, because you booked it. But so, on one hand, you can't just beat Roman Reigns because that would be taking a massive dump all over NWL.
And I've done that enough already tonight.
And you can't beat MJF because if you, after that huge promo, if MJF goes out there and loses, he looks like a loudmouth dumbass who can't put his money where his mouth is. Right. And since he's a babyface, you can't have that. If this was WWE, MJF would have lost. But since this is someone with, someone who actually has a brain booking this, it makes sense to have it be a draw.
Yeah, and MJF, he's obviously going to get a lot of cheers from the fans when he's asking for 5 more minutes because the fans obviously want to see more of that.
Yeah.
But Roman Reigns is like,
loses this match, if anyone was to lose this match, it would run the risk of making them look foolish.
Yeah. And Roman Reigns is a smart man as well. He's like, oh, no. I wrestled the match. I was here. I made my statement. This was what the point was. I'm getting out of town.
Very much approve of this booking decision, Sean.
Thank you. Skylar, how do you feel?
Well, I'm not saying anything because I was involved in it.
Well, I know, but I mean, you weren't involved in necessarily how the finish went down. So what did you think of the finish? I know you knew about the draw, but how did you feel about the way it was drawn?
Well, let's talk about the whole thing at the beginning. The whole thing started at the Hart Foundation Cup when I happened to make a offhand comment about how Roman Reigns could go to other companies and do other things. And a brilliant idea was formed in that moment because of all the people that I mentioned, MJF is the one with the biggest mouth who would shoot it off and have Roman actually respond to him.
Yes. And would be cheered by NWL while he was still being a dick because he is still a babyface for ACPW.
And lo and behold, we made a crossover event, and this is how you would book a crossover event without having either guy lose badly. It makes them both look good, it gets the point across, and opens the door for future matches with more stipulations.
That's right. And also, not for nothing, but a world champion or champion versus champion or 2 top names going from different promotions going to a time limit draw is as old as wrestling. It's the right thing to do sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we just saw it in what was a match of the year contender. You couldn't have Paige lose his first title defense, but you couldn't just have Daniel Bryan lose his first match as a contender.
Yeah, exactly. You couldn't do that. And so, weirdly, Tony Khan gets it half the time. And so that's how this went down. So this was, and Skylar, I want to just say thank you for letting me kind of fulfill this fantasy booking piece because this was really fun to do. And thanks for rolling with all the punches that MJF was clearly giving.
You know, as the babyface of this program, I really have to roll with the punches and just let my actions speak with my words. And by my actions, I mean Roman Reigns' fists.
That's right. Well, we'll see what happens with these two going forward because you don't know where anyone's going to show up. And if you recall, Roman Reigns has invited MJF to the National Wrestling League at some point in the future at MJF's choosing. So we still have that at some point. So maybe this is not as over as one might suspect. But we got 2 matches. They're both title matches, and they're huge.
Huge.
Wrestling,
Huge.
That's right. It is. And I sincerely debated putting this on last. I really did. I wanted to, but I figured I can't. Just because of the world title and the way I built the world title, I couldn't have this go on last. It is wrestling's finest with Roderick Strong taking on the Hardys, titles versus career.
Now, here's the question. With Wrestling's Finest, are you doing the same thing like I'm doing with the Horsewomen?
No.
And doing the Freebird rule?
No. It is Bobby and Kyle only. And Roderick Strong is there as a support.
Okay, for now, but I'm sure in the future, if you wanted to, you could amend it to be a Freebird rule.
If potentially. But as it stands, no, it is just Fish and O'Reilly.
Redragon, or
That's
Wrestling's Finest.
How long do you think this match goes, Joshua?
That's a tough call. You just had a 30-minute long match, so I'm gonna go like 19 minutes.
Okay. Sky?
12.
Joshua is actually the closest here. It goes 20. I'm giving this time, and here's the finish. Matt gets the heat. Jeff gets the comeback. Jeff is about to swanton O'Reilly when Roderick Strong pushes Jeff off. The referee then obviously goes to Roddy, and while Jeff is on the outside, Bobby Fish, who is also on the outside, goes up there and hits his Fisherman Buster on Jeff on the outside. Now, while Roddy's talking with the ref, Matt Hardy hits Roddy, with a big punch that knocks him off the apron. But O'Reilly rolls him up and rolls through and hits a big kick to the face that looks like it hits Matt on straight to his temple. It's devastating knee to the face that Kyle puts in. And so Matt's down. Jeff's obviously down on the outside. Then O'Reilly goes to get a steel chair, which is something that's pretty typical with Fish and O'Reilly, and goes to get a chair. But then Bobby stops him. And this is one of those times I'm actually kind of going to go against the thing. I do want to have this mic'd, this moment. Not loudly, so it's not like, hey, we're micing this on purpose. But I want it to kind of be where you can kind of faintly hear it. So you can kind of be like, oh, did you hear what they said? As opposed to, wow, that's what they said, guys. I can't believe that we heard that, even though the mic is at maximum volume.
Shut up, Michael Cole. Shut up.
Exactly. So, but I will have this mic'd up, and Fish stops him saying, no, dude. If we use those, we prove their point. We prove that we're just them. We got to humiliate them just on our own. And I know how to do it. And O'Reilly's like, okay, and they both go into the ring. And Jeff is in bad shape here, because that was a big Fisherman Buster, which is Bobby Fish's finish. So then they beat down on Matt. Then there's a little trash talk. You can see him slap. And then Kyle O'Reilly goes to the top rope. Bobby Fish hits a twist of fate on the Matt Hardy. And O'Reilly at the top with a swanton. And as Jeff tried to crawl in, Roddy held him down by a foot. Cover, 1, 2, 3. Wrestling's finest win.
Damn. The disrespect on that finish, though.
And
wow.
And Matt, and obviously the tag champs, they celebrate and they leave. They're out. They're gonna go celebrate. And this is Charlotte. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh my God.
This is why I debated putting this on last. But this
You
is
are pulled a
going to have
WWE.
riot on your hands, sir.
You didn't just pull a WWE, you pulled the WWE move.
But this is the first and only time I've ever done it. So poopaloo on you. And, you know, it's all of these things that WWE do wouldn't suck if they were done once every 2 years or longer.
Not once every 2 hours.
Yeah. So, anyway, so then there's this moment, right? Wrestling's Finest is gone. We're letting these two have their moment. The crowd obviously is incredibly appreciative. They're hugging each other. They look up, they look out. And then you see Matt just mouth to Jeff, "Let's go home." And the two of them look out, and they're getting just in the cheers of appreciation all the way as they walk to the ramp. I let them milk this for like 4 or 5 minutes, however long they need to take. There's not going to be an in-ring promo afterwards. There's not going to be a saying goodbye. This match was the goodbye. And this moment that they're having is going to be that farewell. You know, we've done this, and we're not having the let's all hug afterwards with Wrestling's Finest that they do when a wrestler's career is over now. It's not going to be like that. They've ended the careers. This is Hardy's moment in front of the crowd, their home crowd that they love the most. This is the place that their careers come to a close, where Matt can focus on his 64 children and Jeff can focus on his acoustic music. And that's the end of the Hardys in fantasy booking. Is it the ending that we all wanted? No. By the way that it's a fuck finish, but it's the ending that happens for wrestlers, and it gives Wrestling's Finest more credibility on their shoulders, saying not only are we the tag champions, but we ended the careers of arguably one of the greatest tag teams of all time.
You had to do it because the Hardys are long in the tooth. They can't keep up at the highest levels forever. You have to give that rub to a team that still has miles to go and can still do amazing things. And Redragon or Wrestling's Finest is the perfect team to do that with.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm very thankful that I got the Hardys, because the Hardys have easily been the tag team I've had the most fun booking with. They've had the most enduring storylines, lasted a year and a half to get them those titles from FTR, from the first fuck finish with Jim Cornette on episode 1 to their title win, to their immediate title loss, to show that, well, maybe they can't keep up with everybody. They've only, maybe they can't keep up with the younger guys. And then finally, unfortunately, to be disrespected the way they were disrespected by Wrestling's Finest, you never want to see that, but it gives something meaningful for the Hardys to have to finish off, that they were able to give back. But they also had one of the greatest moments in ACPW history when they got those tag titles after 3 tries. So I'm very thankful that I was able to play with the Hardys in the same way that you had Edge and you storybook ended it until I ruined it. And
then I had to come up with a half-hearted way to storybook end it with Edge.
So, but this is the way that the Hardys had to go. And I'm thankful I had them. Joshua?
By the way, I don't think you ruined the Edge finish. You just gave it a epilogue.
That's right.
Chapter.
So if you want Broken Matt, now's your chance.
No fucking way.
Joshua, your thoughts?
I pretty much agree with everything Skylar said. I really like the way this played out.
But the other thing, too, is that you cannot end on a sad note like that on a pay-per-view.
That's right.
That's true.
And we've got a main event.
Oh, yeah.
And
Unless this match also ends in a sad moment, in which case it's really hard booking like WWE.
Well,
yeah, pretty much.
Well,
the baby faces lose the end.
Well, that doesn't
the hometown, no less.
Well, that one had to be done. But this one here, it is the ACPW Heavyweight Championship, our main event. It is Jeff Cobb with Jim Cornette versus Titus O'Neil after personal attacks, after a tar and feathering, after racial undertones, after Arn Anderson laying down the law, and after Titus finally saying this is going to be it. Here it comes. Before this match starts, though, Jeff Cobb and Titus O'Neil, they're on either side. Jim Cornette grabs the mic from the timekeeper's table and leaps up onto the middle of the ring kind of in between them and goes, "Now, before this match starts, I just want to make it clear to you, Titus O'Neil. I want you to take a good look. I want you to breathe this moment in because it's the last time you're ever going to have this moment. Because people like you, the yellow-bellied of the world, the lesser thans of the world, the underneath talent of the world, the scum, the under the bridges, looking up at the lights kind of people don't belong in the main event. So take it in and absorb it, because when Jeff Cobb's done with you and you're brought back home, you're going to wish that the tar and feathering happened again so that at least you'd feel something instead of the pit." And he doesn't get any further than that when Titus O'Neil charges him, and Corny obviously jumps off the apron because it was a distraction. And Jeff Cobb immediately gets the jump, and it's heat time. This match goes 10 minutes. And a lot of this is just Jeff Cobb beating down Titus O'Neil because Titus didn't get a fair shot at it because Corny was sitting there to incense Titus. And so Jeff Cobb is just beating him down, suplexes, big holds, big bear hug, all this stuff to beat him down. And eventually, Titus O'Neil starts coming up. He starts making his comeback, and he finally does, and he gives a gets shot off the ropes, big boot. Down goes Cobb, who rolls out of the ring because, again, intelligence. Rolls out of the ring. Now, the referee has watched Cobb, and Cobb's now on one side as Titus was about to go out and chase him, but the referee is now following Cobb as he's walking, as he's starting to count him out. Well, Titus, who is starting to go down, he holds his ribs for a second. Corny with the tennis racket comes back, wham! Right into the back and the shoulders and the head of Titus O'Neil with that tennis racket. And Titus O'Neil just stiffens up. And normally, this is the moment where he slowly turns around and Jim Cornette goes, "Oh no, don't kick me in the face." That's not what's happening here. He stiffens up, and you see the smile, because he knows exactly what happened. And Cornette, he's still got the racket there. He's still kind of in close proximity. And immediately, Titus turns around, and before Corny can even get a chance to run, big boot to Corny's face. He flies. He goes down. The jacket goes flying. The racket goes flying. Corny goes down, and the crowd goes banana. And then back into the ring goes Titus O'Neil. He rolls back in, but it's enough for Jeff Cobb to recover and hit a giant clothesline. And down goes Titus. And it's looking like it's all hope is lost as Cobb goes to finish it off. He goes to hit the deadlift power slam, which he hasn't all match. He goes for the deadlift power slam, and as he's going down, and he goes, he does the one rotation, then he's about to do that rotation with the head, where it's actually going to do the flip around the other side. But Titus has squeezed the arm and gotten his legs free, so that when Cobb goes to actually do that rotation, Titus lands on his feet behind Cobb, uses all of his energy with both hands to push Jeff Cobb's back so that Jeff Cobb would actually start running by that force. It's not a head palm shoot off, fuck yourself. And so it's a big push with both hands to the back. Jeff Cobb starts running. Jeff Cobb hits the ropes, comes back. Clash of the Titus. Cover. Middle of the ring. Corny's down. 1, 2, 3. He's done it. Titus O'Neil has won the ACPW championship, and all the baby faces fall out, and they do the big moment with Bret Hart like WrestleMania 10 where they hold him up and he's got the belt. And that's obviously after a couple minutes of Titus reveling in it by himself. As
confetti comes out from the rafters, the boyhood dream.
Well, I thought about confetti, but I felt that was a little too sports entertainment-y. Like, then we knew what was coming. So we're not going to do the confetti. But we will do the baby faces coming out and cheering, celebrating with him, because that's something that could realistically happen that wouldn't be pre-planned. All the baby faces coming out and cheering with Titus, but the crowd goes nuts. They've just seen the year's worth of tyranny end of the cult of Cornette, who went 0 for 3 tonight from the man who had been humiliated, the man who had been the closest to beating Jeff Cobb of anybody, finally gets his and becomes the ACPW heavyweight champion. A feel-good moment to end the show. Your thoughts?
Fantastic show. I loved it.
And ironically, not the person you originally had pegged to beat him.
No. In fact, I was going to have it be the man who Jeff Cobb beat. It was going to be Brian Cage, but then Brian Cage kind of lost favor with me. But I think it was honestly for the better. Because the Titus O'Neil story had more depth, the Titus O'Neil story had more momentum, and the Titus O'Neil story had more emotion.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think that was going to end up making this the perfect storm to come in here and make this moment for Titus O'Neil. I built Titus O'Neil from somebody who was being laughed at, from a reaction after a match I can't even describe with Bray Wyatt and John Cena, and a guy who was known for sliding underneath Chris Jericho at WrestleMania, to a man who not only could you respect as a guy who is who he really is, as a humanitarian, somebody who loves people and works well with people. There's a reason that he's such a great ambassador for WWE, because he's so personable and likable and cares about other people, cares from his humble beginnings about those regular people that are watching day in and day out and are tired of watching people like Jim Cornette and Jeff Cobb run roughshod. I took a guy that nobody would have pegged to be world championship material and made him a world champion that you could believe, you could accept, and that you could want to watch on a weekly basis going from this moment.
What was that old phrase? He's not the champion we needed, but the champion we deserved.
That's right.
I agree.
And that's the show. That's the show with this main event, and again, I kept this short. It's only 10 minutes because this is a 2-hour and 50-minute show. Even at 2 hours and 40 minutes, people are going to be gassed. Especially after watching the careers of the Hardys end right before their eyes.
Yeah.
So this gets time to build, but it also finishes things up without wearing out its welcome. So,
now here's the thing. With Titus O'Neil as your world champion, the possibilities are endless.
That's right. I have not had a babyface champion for a year. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. What's going to happen with the Cult of Cornette? 0 for 3 on the night. This has not been the year. 2021 has not been favorable for the Cult of Cornette. Where do they go from here? Where does
they're going to claim conspiracy.
That's right. So there's a lot going on with ACPW and NWL. What a way to end our fantasy booking this year. Applause all around to all three of us for the fantasy booking that we've been putting in. Y'all have been putting in work, and I'm incredibly proud of all of you for proving alongside me that the people who actually run wrestling don't know what the hell they're doing.
Agreed.
And we will continue to do that in 2022 with Season 3.
That's right. So that means, and if you want to know what's going on with Season 3, you know what you got to do. Not only for us, but for TAW Gaming, you got to like, you got to share, you got to subscribe, you got to change that bell button to all so you get every notification, good, bad, and downright out of context. And because of that, and because we want you to come back and see what else is coming along, it's time to take our first commercial break. Next week, we're all coming back for the Grapplies.
Hell yeah, I'm excited for that.
So,
as we award championship belts made of plastic and paper to people who deserve it for good and bad.
That's right. So, well, the ones for good actually are a replica belt. To be fair, it is a real replica belt for the good ones. The bad ones, plastic, but the good ones are good. So, because they deserve it. It's still cardboard, but they deserve it. But in any case, until then, thank you guys very much for tagging along. JoshAgeddon, thanks for listening to us, and obviously a great show by yourself, Sky.
Thank you.
You didn't see it, but I did a curtsy.
I believe you. Now hold those dynamic duos while we close the show. It's time to take our first commercial break. Thank you all very much for watching, and we will see you next week. And the only way we'll see you next week is if you watch these commercials happening right now, right after this.